Nintendo finally did it. They pulled the trigger on actually suing Palworld and their developers Pocket Pair. Today, we will be discussing what exactly is going on with everything we know so far about the proceeding. Of course, I have to preface this by saying I'm not a lawyer, I don't claim to be one, and none of what I'm about to say is legal advice. For more in-depth information on the matter, we will be following along with IGN's article on the subject, which will be linked down below in case you want to give them a full read. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Earlier yesterday, Nintendo, on behalf of the Pokemon Company, officially filed a lawsuit against Palworld's developer Pocket Pair. Per official terms, the lawsuit claims Nintendo is seeking an injunction against infringement and compensation for damages on grounds that Palworld, a game developed and released by the defendant, infringes multiple patent rights. Nintendo then stated, Nintendo will continue to take necessary actions against any infringement of its intellectual property rights, including the Nintendo brand itself. To protect the intellectual properties it has worked hard to establish over the years. IGN then states the filing is absolutely massive news and follows months of speculation that Nintendo would take legal action over the indie survival game that's been referred to as Pokemon with Guns. A brief reminder for you guys who don't recall during the launch week and major success the game was having amid its official release, where they brought in millions of players seemingly overnight, there was a ton of speculation from fans that Nintendo on behalf of the Pokemon Company might end up filing a lawsuit due to the likeness and heavy resemblance some of the pals share with actual Pokemon. Continuing on with the article, Nintendo previously released a statement about Palworld in January, when all this mentioned before was going on, vowing to investigate and take appropriate measures against any potentially infringing content. The article then states, but 6 months later in June, Pocket Pair insisted that Nintendo had yet to make a complaint in response to the Pokemon ripoff claims. Nintendo and the Pokemon Company didn't say anything to us, Pocket Pair boss Takuro Mizobi told the GameFile at the time. Pokemon fans were quick to call out the similarities in Palworld, although the indie developer insisted that Palworld is more akin to survival crafting games such as Ark Survival Evolved and Valheim than Pokemon. In my opinion at the time with this exact statement, I think they were focusing too much on the comparison on gameplay rather than the actual similarities on the pals to Pokemon themselves, as I personally think this is where Nintendo will be stating the infringement is going to be coming from. I could be wrong, but in terms of gameplay as stated by the developers in that statement, the gameplay isn't exactly one-to-one to the Pokemon formula, so in my opinion, it would have to be based off of the creature designs. On screen, I will have a couple of comparisons shown where we can see blatant similarities in not only overall design choice, but even the color schemes, overall posture, and structures of pals as well. Whether or not some of these will actually be some of the patents Nintendo deems were infringed upon is yet to be seen, as in the next article, Pocket Pair reveals that even they themselves don't even know yet why exactly they're getting sued. This information is coming from another article made from IGN this morning that will be posted down below for your reading pleasure. In it, we have Pocket Pair's full response that they made public about the lawsuit, and it reads as follows. Regarding the lawsuit, yesterday a lawsuit was filed against our company for patent infringement. We have received notice of this lawsuit and will begin the appropriate legal proceedings and investigations into the claims of patent infringement. At this moment, we are unaware of the specific patents we are accused of infringing upon, and we have not been notified of such details. Pocket Pair is a small indie game company based in Tokyo. Our goal as a company has always been to create fun games. We will continue to pursue this goal because we know that our games bring joy to millions of gamers around the world. Palworld was a surprise success this year both for gamers and for us. We were blown away by the amazing response to the game and have been working hard to make it even better for our fans. We will continue improving Palworld and strive to create a game that our fans can be proud of. It is truly unfortunate that we will be forced to allocate significant time to matters unrelated to game development due to this lawsuit. However, we will do our utmost for our fans and to ensure that indie game developers are not hindered or discouraged from pursuing their creative ideas. We apologize to our fans and supporters for any worry or discomfort that this news has caused. As always, thank you for your continued support of Palworld and Pocket Pair. As you can tell, they are obviously discontent with the situation, but seem to have a level head with everything going on so far. IGN then states, players are now left wondering whether Nintendo and the Pokemon Company's lawsuit will force Pocket Pair to remove Palworld from sale or even shut the game down. As you'd expect, the official Palworld Discord is packed with posts from players debating the likelihood of Nintendo's success with the lawsuit itself and its potential effect on the game. Personally, I don't think this will be happening. Again, I'm not too sure how this works on the legal side, but you also have to wonder if Nintendo and the Pokemon Company would actually see this lawsuit through without them and their lawyers thinking they could actually win a case like this. Especially with all the time it took them to actually go ahead and file the lawsuit, since they themselves said they would be starting an investigation to potential infringement back when this was a big speculation during the game's launch. And if the infringement is severe enough, I wonder to what end they could pursue Palworld other than just compensation. IGN then stated, after Palworld's record-breaking launch in January and the subsequent comparisons of Pokemon, IGN asked experts whether Nintendo could potentially successfully sue Pocket Pair. At the time, Peter Lewin, video game lawyer at Wigan, told IGN much would depend on which country Nintendo pursued legal action, given the differences in IP law across the globe. The US, for example, has a notoriously permissive fair use defense, which might have influenced where Nintendo sued Pocket Pair. Nintendo's lawsuit was filed in the Tokyo District Court. They then continued by saying Sam Castry, a copyright lawyer and avid Pokemon player, told IGN there was the potential for a court order that could block Pocket Pair from selling Palworld, but cast doubt on the likelihood of a lawsuit taking place. That analysis, however, was in the context of a lawsuit being based upon copyright infringement. Nintendo's lawsuit alleges patent infringement, although the company has yet to detail which patents. Overall, to put it bluntly, this is a mess that Palworld really didn't want or need in their hands. For those of you that aren't aware, Pocket Pair itself was an insanely small studio when it started making Palworld, consisting of just 4 members at the start and then expanding to about 40 members throughout development while also outsourcing some work here and there. They recently actually made a deal with Sony, but it wasn't a buyout or collaboration in terms of their actual development. This instead was for backing when it came to making outside merch to expand Palworld's brand, when it comes to things like plushies, music, potential shows, etc. This joint venture is called Palworld Entertainment and is headed by Pocket Pair CEO currently. It is also potentially one of the reasons Pocket Pair is allegedly rumored to be bringing Palworld over to PlayStation later this year. Bringing it back to the lawsuit, this makes it even more complicated that it's filed in the court of Japan than the United States. As in the article itself mentioned, some laws that could potentially help Palworld, like free use that was mentioned in there, could have majorly helped their case and more than likely isn't a thing in the place that it was filed. Not to mention, most of us trying to actually analyze it here from the United States or other countries, according to what fans know of their local law, would obviously be missing out on pertinent information on how it would proceed over there in Japan. Again, myself, I'm personally not a lawyer, so I wouldn't even really be going into the legal documents or anything anyways, but I'm wondering if the Fair Use Act is the only reason that it was filed in Japan instead of the United States. Or maybe it's just because they're stationed from there to begin with, so they're more comfortable with Japanese law. I mean, when it comes down to it, they are Japanese-based companies after all. But unfortunately, when it comes to potential legal trouble, fans and haters alike saw it a mile away at launch, with a couple of designs being way too similar in some cases. They were towing a fine line from the start, especially when it comes to a company like Nintendo when it comes to sending cease and desist or threatening legal action over its IPs. I for one am a fan of both Nintendo and its various IPs and Pocket Pair's Palworld. It really is saddening to see that these two companies are about to go at it legally over a couple of design choices Palworld had when constructing their game. I'm curious to see which exact patents are being infringed upon by Palworld as per Nintendo's lawsuit, and have no idea how long it would take to get an actual solution on the matter. As I mentioned before, I don't think this game will exactly be pulled from digital sales, at the very least until a scenario like Palworld losing actually took place. I'm curious to see all your thoughts on everything happening in the comment section down below, and which patents you think Palworld is infringing on. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. If you enjoyed or found it entertaining, make sure to scroll down and make that like button glow so we can reach our like goal of 20 likes for this video. While you're down there, consider subscribing as we will be covering updates as they come out, other AAA games throughout the year, hilarious content, and more. As always, your support through your viewership, liking, and subscribing is always greatly appreciated and helps me out tremendously against the legal threat that is the YouTube algorithm. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to catch you guys next time. Peace!